Half-ruined castles, ancient towns, mysterious caves. Every year, archaeologists find hundreds of artifacts. To find the truth and unravel what's left to us from our ancestors, the crew of Archeology Mystery of History program, together with scientists, are investigating objects found on site of historic events. Watch our program and get ready for exciting discoveries.
The history of the Taraz city is longer than 2,000 years. It is one of the oldest cities of Kazakhstan and is of great historical and cultural value. As of today, 5 historical monuments of Jambul region were included in UNESCO World Heritage List. This, in its turn, contributes to the development of tourism. Ancient mausoleums were preserved on the territory of the region, some featuring unique architectural designs. One of these monuments is the Mausoleum of Karakhan. Southern Kazakhstan is a special region where numerous unique examples of medieval architecture are present to these days. Among them, Mausoleum of Aisha Bibi in Jambul region, mausoleums of Hajjah Ahmed Yasovi and of Arslan Bab in South Kazakhstan region are worth mentioning. These are the examples of fine art that we are proud of. Considering particular era of Karakhan, it is 11th-12th centuries. This is the time of the rule and flourishing of the Karahanids dynasty. This is the time when these unique monuments were created. Karakhan Mausoleum conceals century-long secrets. It was built over the grave of one of the first Khans of the Karahanids dynasty, Shah Mahmud Bugra Karakhan, who had set his rule upon the Karahanid state in the 10th, 12th centuries. The historical object is a part of the museum reserve Monuments of Ancient Taraz. People called Karakhan saint for his piety and sanctity. Hence the name of the area is Awliya Ta, which means Holy Father. Let's start with defining who this Karakhan was. He was the founder of the Karahanid state, great-grandson of Satu Bograhan, meaning he was the heir to the throne. Popular rumor says that representatives of the Karahanid dynasty were missionaries, the Arabs. In fact, they have nothing to do with the Arabs. In year 751, the famous Battle of Talas took place between the Arab and Turkic army against the Chinese people. The battle ended with defeat of Chinese forces. This is when the Karahanid state was established. Mausoleum of Karakhan is a brilliant piece of the architecture of the 11th century, preserved in the territory of Kazakhstan. It is located in the western side of the modern Taraz. It took 30 types of figured bricks to complete the finishing. The manufacturing process of these bricks, according to scientists, required very refined skills. The mausoleum was retained until the 90s of the 19th century. Even though its dome was destroyed, 4 walls and colored glaze decorated minarets were still there. In 1905, the ruined part of the mausoleum was dismantled, and in 1906, an architectural monument was restored completely. During the military conflicts of Russia and Kokand Khanate over the Senior Juz's lands, the mausoleum of Karakhan was destroyed completely. In 1904-1905, Kali Junis, a famous philanthropist, together with Imam Ishan, as well as with the support of the people, rebuilt the mausoleum. Construction lasted 2 years and was completed in 1906. Unfortunately, the mausoleum we see today is not how it looked initially. According to the sources, the original one looked like the Aisha Bibi mausoleum. The mausoleum of Aisha Bibi was decorated with beautiful continuous lining of terracotta slabs decorated with 60 different ornaments. The mausoleum of Karakhan was also distinguished with incredibly complex, refined manner of execution. Unfortunately, while retaining constructive structures, historical monument has lost its original decoration elements and failed to preserve its original grandeur and beauty to these days. The legends and tales about Karakhan are widely spread among people and are passed from one generation to another. A true story that has become a legend narrates about a young man falling in love with a girl named Aisha. She was a daughter of his sworn enemy. With no hope of getting her father's approval, Batur Karakhan breaks into the village, takes his beloved one and rushes away. After several days of continuous racing, the girl got tired and decided to take a dip in the river Asu. But little did Aisha know, a snake snuck into her head, and later she falls unconscious after a snake had bitten her. Batur Karakhan picked her up and carried to the nearest village for Mullah to bless them. Aisha died in Batur's arms. The same hour and day, Karakhan vowed to love her forever. Karakhan had built himself a mazar right next to that of Aisha, to be reunited with his sweetheart after death.
Ел азаматтарының, жалпы туристердің ең бірінші қызығар.
The legend associated with this historical monument is the main factor that attracts tourists. I made an interesting fact to the famous legend. The mausoleum of Aisha Bibi is 18 kilometers away from Taraz. The beautiful love story ends with the Karakhan building a mausoleum for himself in order to be reunited with his beloved one after death. The whole point was that he built two mausoleums in such a way that they face each other. If it were not for tall buildings built nowadays, we would clearly see the idea of Karakhan. For 10 centuries, these two buildings were the tallest buildings in Taraz. This basically sums up the idea of eternal love.
Жаңағы серттері осыдан да байқалады.
Saint Karakhan was a very wise and powerful ruler. His glory was known around the globe. Despite his wealth, he preferred to live modestly. He subdued the king of beasts, the lion, which carried out all his commands. It is said that Karakhan would saddle the lion like a horse and ride it trotting. However, Karakhan could not argue with his wife. It seemed that the rebellious wife of the great ruler didn't listen to him at all. Viziers of Karakhan were puzzled. How is it possible that your spouse can object you when the whole world and even lions bend under your will? They asked. Karakhan answered, I thank God 1,000 times that my wife has such a character. Wouldn't I feel superior when the whole world bowed its head in front of me? Wouldn't I be deceived by a devil, falling into the traps of my own pride? Thanks to my wife, I always remember that I am only one of Allah's slaves, and it allows me to be humble before God. The original legend is written down in the Golden Sensilla book.
Жалпы әулие-ата Карахан деп атауы бұл жергілікті халықтың берген атағы.
People called Karakhan saint. The title Auliye may also refer to location of the mausoleum. It was placed in the center of the ancient Taraz, the so-called Shahirstan, the central area of the city. There is another version related to the fact that the area in ancient times was kind of religious memorial complex. there was a cemetery. It is only now that we refer to mausoleums of Aisha Bibi and Karakhan as objects that are crucial for formation of the tourism cluster of Jambul region. Among historical monuments erected during the 11th century, the era of Karahanids, there is another monument worth mentioning: the Mausoleum of Babaji Hatun. The emergence of this mausoleum is historically associated with the Mausoleum of Aisha Bibi. The facade of the mausoleum is similar to that of the Aisha Bibi mausoleum. It is a rectangular, portal dome construction. It consists of a central hall and 3 smaller corner volumes. The central room is framed with a shanarak-like dome, propped with a decorated post. A tombstone in the shape of a traditional cradle is placed in the middle of the room. A staircase in the 4th corner of the mausoleum leads to the roof of the structure. This is where the original decorated with exquisite ornaments bricks were preserved.
Ең бір қызықтысы 4-ші есікте.
It is interesting that the 4th door, if you look at it from the east side, leads to the stairs. You can see 3 bricks remaining from the 12th, 13th centuries on both sides of the stairs. It was a miracle they were preserved during the restoration works. Scientists had initiated numerous research projects devoted to these unique objects. Starting from the 80s of the previous century, such well-known scientists like Patsevich, Kalaur, Baipakov conducted archaeological excavations here. The fact that few ancient books were found here indicates the great importance of this historic site. The facade of the mausoleum, etched with the minarets on sides, is facing the south. The entrance is deeper into the arch. There are 3 niches on every side of the arch of rectangular, square or lancet shape. As the front of the mausoleum is facing the south, the tomb lays from south to north. In 1979, the mausoleum underwent another restoration. In the course of this restoration, the walls were built out of modern bricks.
Қазіргі тұрғызылғандардың барлығы сол патша үкіметінің тұсындағы бір көлемдегі кірпіштер күйдірілген.
During the last restoration, we used bricks of similar size belonging to the Tsarist Russia times. The original door of the mausoleum was opening to the southwest. That is the direction of the Aisha Bibi mausoleum. The initial version of the monument was distinguished with intricately crafted wall masonry, which was made to get some kind of geometric ornament. These magnificent examples of medieval architecture still represent the symbol of pure love.
Әлгі бір келесі екінші мәңгілік дүниеде бірге болсын деген сондай бір діни сенімдердің болғандығы болса керек.
Taraz is an open-air museum, the city of merchants, which is famous for its historical monuments. An endless stream of tourists is directed to unique constructions of the Middle Ages. The Karahanids Mausoleum is one of them. A unique piece of artistry of medieval architects had endured many trials. Brought back from the ashes, it reminds us of the timeless, eternal values of the mankind.